Ladies and gentlemen, now we've already kind of looked at this right here, and now we're just going to extend it a little bit. Now we've taken 1 and we've blown it up to, holy buckets, that's a huge arrow. We've taken, let's just delete that. I think I can delete it. There we go. We've looked at our 1 whole, and we've taken our dime and we've blown it, we've kind of turned into that, and we've gone from 1/10 to, remember, this was 1/100th. This was 1/10 and this was 1/100th. Now we're going to take this 1/100th and we're going to look into this one, this 100th, and that one can be split into 10 pieces as well. Okay, now there's 10 of those in there, and 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. How many total of that? Well, if we continue and we want to look at one of them, okay, it's going to be 1/1000th. Okay, 10th, blow that, take this one, break it into hundredths, break that one into thousands, or that would equal 0.001. Now, if you want to think about it in terms of dollars, it's going to be 0.001. Now, we don't really normally work with dollars, money symbols like this. That's kind of that, gas costs like $3.99, 3.99, and then they have another ninth. That's what this is. All right? So that's kind of that relationship. Now, the other thing I want you to look at is we're going to examine 1/10 more carefully. And I'm just going to type that out just so we know. So let's examine 1/10 more carefully. And let's represent it as a fraction and a decimal. Now, you don't have to type all this. I'm just doing this so you realize what we're doing. So we're going to take 1/10 and we're going to look at it more carefully. And we're going to look at it as a fraction and a decimal, because we're really going to start looking at the relationship here. Because this is a fundamental one that we should know, and we should be able to go from fraction to decimal to fraction to decimal, and it shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. So let's look at 1/10 here. 1/10, or we can just look at it as a dime. 1 dime is equal to 1/10, which is the same as 0.1. If I go 2 dimes, and that just means this is copied here, that is going to equal 2/10, or 0.2. 3 dimes is 3/10, or 0.3. 4 dimes is 4/10, and that's going to be 0.4. Now, 5 dimes is going to be 5/10. Oops, I forgot my hash marks here, so you remember, and that's going to be 0.5. 6 dimes is going to equal 6/10, and that's going to equal 0.6. Now, why don't you finish it for 7, 8, 9, and 10? Why don't you finish what it's going to be, and then we'll pause the video, finish what it's going to be, and then check and see if you got it correct. Now, hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, you finish this, and 7 dimes is going to be 7/10, or 0.7. 8 dimes is going to be 8/10, or 0.8. 9 dimes is going to be 9/10, or 0.9. And 10 dimes is going to be 10/10, or 1 whole. Now, one thing to remember, ladies and gentlemen, as we look at this, is that 2/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 8/10, 10 tenths, are all numbers that we are going to, when we get to that certain point, we're going to start looking at differently, because we'll have to reduce, because 2 will go into both 2 and 5. But for the time being, I want you to be able to go from 1 dime, 1 tenth to 0.1, 3 tenths to 0.3, 4 tenths to 0.4, 5 tenths to 0.5, because those are very important relationships within the realm of mathematics. And those are ones that you need to know, that you need to understand to really be successful. And if we know these by heart, ladies and gentlemen, if we know these relationships, and we can go from tenths to tenths, from decimal to fraction and fraction to decimal with these, it's going to help us as we move forward. So it's very important that we understand these relationships here. Now, as we look at kind of what we're trying to remember, when we look at this and we think of fractions and we think of one whole in terms of $1. So let's go one whole, in the terms of $1. And we'll make a little bridge map here. That's going to be the same as 1 tenth is the same as what representative? Well, that's a dime compared to hundredth, and that is going to be a penny. Now we could continue if we wanted to, and we could say a thousandths, and that is actually equal to a tenth of a penny. Now, generally, we don't really deal with tenths of pennies, but it is important if we want to really look at that relationship. If we look at one whole is $1, then a tenth is a dime, a hundredth is a penny, and a thousandth is a tenth of a penny. And it's one of those important relationships, because we can also look at some of our other very common fractions in terms of $1, and that will help us out.